So the energies, whether they are first chakra energies or any other chakra, any other vibration of your body, mind, spirit, they are for your information. And you would probably rather say it's for your benefit, but we're not necessarily thinking of all things as beneficial. So greetings to the little ones that have an energy that they are very familiar with, that they've carried through in their whole life, and it feels heart-centered. All right, so we're greeting that aspect, and that is where grace resides in your body. All right, the heart, this chakra, is most connected to grace. All right, so the third eye chakra is connected to your not just wisdom, but to your ability to ride the waves. Right, so if you're not deflecting, if your mental attitude, many people are defensive, and they have a way in which it doesn't matter what you say, they are going to defend against it, deflect, especially here in the here and now with all the issues that are confronting the human beings that give them fear. So there's many energies that are moving. So you have the energies at your feet that are holding you to the planet, but they're also variables, all right? There are different variables coming and going through your feet, through the foot chakras on the bottom of the feet. And if in fact you're doing yoga, you want to be awake to that and know that every movement that you make is to connect your meridians, yes, but your streaming consciousness. And so if we talk about ego, it is also incorporated into every other motion, movement, thought, understanding on the plane while you're thinking. All right, so thinking and ego are synonymous. They come together. And that part of one that says, well, was that my ego? Did I cause that? Is that part of what am I supposed to be learning? So you know that in meditation you are absent, you're empty, all right, for the most part. After a little while you become empty. And that's the goal. So whether it's a mantra or it's sutras or it's some practice that you have, it's to bring you to stillness. And that stillness is automatic. You don't have to work very hard at it. It's centered in the very core of your being. Now you can choose, let's say heart chakra, we'll go back to that again, and you know that your toroidal field is coming in contact with every other toroidal field. For those of you who have remembered the pictures and how that works, that your energy is on automatic when it comes down to the tree or the dog or the heart of another person. You are automatically connected through a frequency. Now, how clear your frequency remains is up to you. How much you have cleared, how much you have allowed to move through, how much forgiveness is going on. And these are all peeling away processes. It's either the onion or apple or whatever you're taking the peel off of. The onion is one of those favorite images because it peels on and on and on until it gets to the center. But that's not necessary. The only thing is that if your heart is in the right place and that you're knowing that the good of all is what your highest aim is, all right? That's the aim, anything you can aim at. And then beyond that, what is your desire? What is your key wish for this life cycle? If it has something to do with something physical, you are going to remain in your ego for your life, all right? If it comes to the greatness of wanting freedom from incarnation, your life is going to be different. Right? It's going to be moving all the time into an awareness of letting go of the limitations that have accrued over many different life cycles. So this particular instance, where it is the planet finds itself with many people of different shapes, sizes, and colors and languages, etc., in the same dilemma, is perfect for this exercise, so to speak. And you will see that different countries have different approaches, and the waking up process is going to happen in different ways. And it's going to be almost country by country, because the equivalent of what is light in the people that are in the government, or the darker the government, the deeper the opposition. All right, so you're lucky. There you go. Darker government. Yes? So the deeper the opposition is, and the deeper it is within the heart, and the closer it comes to grace, because the divine ones and the Christed energy has an affinity for she who hears the cries of the people. Yes, that's the Kwan Yin energy. It's not a person. And the roar of the person that is feeling from their very navel that this is not okay. So there is a complete disturbance. This is going to be difficult. You're going to have to listen to this a few times. It may seem like we're jumping around, but we are putting it all together. That coming from the navel in your body, there is no personality in your navel that you can put your finger on or identify with at this point in time. With your heart, you can do that. With your solar plexus, you can do that. With your first chakra, you can do that. But this navel chakra, the one that is keyed into the entire cosmos through the umbilicus when you are a small baby, but also has its entire linkage into forgiveness, relationship and forgiveness. All right, so that's second chakra. And so you're going to find that the more maladies you feel in your body at this particular point in time, the more you're going to recognize that particular chakra is being challenged. And so you're being challenged on all levels. Your feet may hurt, and your heart may hurt, and your head may hurt, and things may feel very tired, and sleeping may be difficult. These are all challenges. It's not something wrong. It's just challenges. And the more open, awake, and alive, the more you open your eyes to what is happening without assumptions. We talk about that a little bit. Without any assumptions, which means that you don't have any background in what is going on here. You know, you can surmise, or you can have fear, or you can pull out memories from other instances in your particular life cycle. But what's going on the planet is entirely new. It has representations of other instances. It has ways in which it reflects certain qualities of other pandemics, or other social dilemmas, or all the things that are causing what feels like war and entrapment and hostages. Just look at what's happening. There is an example of every kind of tyranny and terrorism on the entire planet. And then, in a few places, there are those that are having a glimmer of awakeness. In Japan, they have announced this is not okay. All right, Japan, this is a beautiful country where it is that people are very keyed into their ancestry and have a lot of knowing from other cycles. And so it has emerged. It isn't really about one person. It's about the consciousness that emerges from the karmic patterns of each country. And that's why New Zealand is in a unique position, because your karmic patterns as a country are not very deep. Right? You're not an old country. It's not very deep. It is a scattering. There is a way in which those have heritage that comes from another time, another place, another country before it was settled in New Zealand. And then there are those people coming together. And if you really look at what makes a commonality for people in New Zealand, we're not so sure that each one is going to be saying the same thing. You're going to each have a way in which you see as New Zealanders or Kiwi parts of oneself that are connected to all other Kiwis, in your estimation. We're not saying this is absolute or absolute truth. So it gets a chance to, and you get a chance to look at what the common thought thread is and what might hold people together on automatic pilot, because it's probably never been discussed until now, except keep everybody else safe and be a family and do it the way it's supposed to be done, etc. It's like looping everything like a purse that has a drawstring around the top. It's like putting you all in a baggie. And so we want to watch you fight your way out of the baggie, you know, the purse that they're pulling the string on there. So you have to come to your individuality. as a group of Kiwis, you're not going to be able to win a war. Right? It's just not going to happen because you're not warring people. And so the energetic of who you truly are is, of course, from the heart, and each one is unique, not just your personality and not just your heritage, but your accumulated experiences make you unique. So you want to be able to grasp is one word, but that's not quite the right word, assimilate into yourself who you think you are. What is your self-image? What is the image of yourself? We're still going back to first chakra again here. All right? What is your image of yourself? Does it fit into what somebody else would say? And if you have somebody that you trust or it's just plain fun, you say, well, how do you see me? And you'll get the quality that pops out at them about who you really are. And perhaps you've never heard of that. But this is not about self-evaluation. This is about self-awareness. Totally different things, right? Awareness and evaluation. No evaluating. It's like, wow, look at that. And it's easy to feel bad about yourself if, in fact, you're judging, criticizing, condemning, and you have a limited idea of who you are because the only one in your head is you, right? So as you get ready to challenge who is this one in my head, and then you may say, well, it was my mother, or it was my auntie, or it was this, or it was that. But we say, no, it's really you on an ethereal aspect, floating through your reality, and connected to your self-image and your first chakra. So you have this voice in your head that's reflecting what this little chewing thing is doing in your first chakra at the bottom of your spine. And all the way through your body, this reverberation happens, that you are having an experience of self-judgment and limited thought patterns, keeping you all the while in the image that you are a person, right? That you're a small, ineffective aspect of reality compared to the truth of your being or your soul. Yes. So it's call to arms, that's one word, but call to awareness for yourself. It's like, how am I treating myself? Not just bad or indifferent, etc., but it's like, what is my image of myself? Because at that point, if you realize that you have an image of yourself and you're projecting that into the world, you may or may not like it, but the life you're living is a reflection of that. And so you have a given at the center, at the core of your being, that you have designated. You've done it. So whatever's not going in your life the way you want it to, just remember, you have decreed it. Well, we don't even like that word decreed, but it's a good one for this now. So giving yourself permission to move along from this particular point of evolution, all right, so evolving. You don't want to look at genealogy. There's a lot coming out about who is Christ and what genealogy and what bloodlines and how does it all work and who's glued to whom and who had the same father and the mother, and the bloodline is so important. But if you get beyond that, you're closer to freedom, right? So the Christ energy is part of everyone, all right? The Christ is what animates your body. To know which was the most pure part of the Christ line, who did what, who had children, who was the exemplary, all these things. It's interesting facts, maybe. Interesting information, for sure. But who you are at this point in time has really nothing to do with that. That's all about morals and culture and socialization, right, and streamlining in the physical reality, and it reflects into the greater part of what is happening now because of the still judging, critical aspect of humanity that says the Christ is good, or this church person is good, or that is better, etc. It's still falling in that category. So we're going to encourage you to move beyond that and know that true freedom is freedom from your mind. So every time you find that your mind has thoughts that are continuing and that you don't want those thoughts because you've noticed that it's keeping you from feeling peaceful, that you can sit with that and say to yourself, well, who is that anyway? And who is that talking to? Don't make anything up. Just look. Just look and see if you can find anybody in there that this voice is aggravating. Who is creating all this? Who is making this nonsense go on inside of self? And as you do that, you realize that the part of you that has been all of your life connected to feeling of self-worth, self-esteem, low, high, whatever it is the effect of this voice, this impression of collected information that you've taken on and you're giving a home to it. You may decide you want to evict it. Yes? It's good to talk to you, little ones. All right, so that was a lot of information. We have an awareness that all of the energies of the planet of Earth are to bring forward a state of strong, not just self-worth as a physical person, but strong as sovereign is one word, but sovereign not as a human, but sovereign as you recognize that you are part of the supreme energy of the planet and the universe and the cosmos, and therefore you have a will that you are, you have your own personal will, of course, and sometimes that overshadows. But it's like wielding a sword. Someone that takes lessons, fencing, let's say, because that's attractive to watch. Someone that takes lessons with fencing and feels very, very effective with fencing is beautiful to watch, and it doesn't cause any effort on that person's side at all, or that person's part at all. But someone who's just picking up a heavy sword or a brand new instrument, etc., they are laboring and they are challenged and they are not moving with grace and ease of an accomplished sword carrier, you see. So you want to know what your sword is one way to say it, but to know what you're carrying with you that is your implement that signifies grace in your life. All right, so your heart is receiving grace. You live by grace. If you were not in grace now, you would not be breathing, right? Because that's how it is. For some reason you got born, and here you are. And for some reason you are having the life you're living. You're finishing up old ideas and beliefs, and you can do it in a day, but you don't quite understand that or believe that you can, because the entrapment is strong. So you want to keep freeing yourself from your mind. Free yourself from your mind. Free yourself from the thoughts. When you find yourself thinking about something, 1, 2, or 3 things at a time is fine, because then you get variation. But if you think about one thing over and over again and having worry, then your ego is in charge. And that's when you want to be able to just take a breath, step back and know that this is the challenge, to be willing to let go completely of whatever it is you're worrying about, because you're really and truly not in charge of your breath, and you're really and truly not in charge of your life. All right, it's good to talk to you. I am Kwan Yin. You have